It's
to.
great to see you, but I really appreciate it. And tonight's about the wrestlers and the wrestling fans and the great staff that put this show together. And I appreciate all you coming here to cover the show in person. It's great to see you. Hope you enjoyed AEW All In Texas. It's great to be at Globe Life Field here in Arlington, Texas. We've had some great shows in Texas, but this is the first pay-per-view we've ever done in this great state. And certainly it's amazing. This is the biggest attendance we've ever had in North America. I don't know about the pay-per-view buys yet, but I know the early buys going in were ahead of anything we've had. So this was really special. Our partners have been so great, and it's great to see you. And we have some of the great wrestlers featured on tonight's show here. Renee, you were fantastic hosting the show. Thank you.
Thank you. Always fun to be here. Always so exciting to kind of set the stage for everything and feel that energy as everybody's kind of making their way in. But without further ado, we should get into this. Yeah.
This is great. Well, it's exciting. And thank you very much, Renee. And we've got some of the top stars, great champions, and great wrestlers from AEW. And I'm excited about how we're going to start this one out here at All In Texas.
We've got our new TNT champion, Texas's own Dustin Rhodes. And my favorite wrestler of all time.
Seriously.
He knows,
man.
It. We go back.
Jesus.
Oh, it's good.
Dustin, this was a long
You gonna
time.
sit down?
Yeah.
Please. I mean, maybe I have a long-winded question. I was getting into it and giving you time.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Unfortunate circumstances with Adam Cole having to vacate this championship earlier tonight, but this really felt like a long time coming for you to hold this TNT championship and hold this gold in AEW. We could see the look on your face after winning this in a four-way matchup, what this meant to you. Can you explain a little bit of that to us?
Well, I've had several TNT title matches and just have come up short. And the bad situation about Adam, man, is just very sad. So it's a very emotional night for everybody. And Tony said, Dustin, step up, and I did, and happy to do so. And very shocked, very honored. I'm sure there was nobody in the building that thought I was going to win this title, and it's just a blessing. I'm very grateful to Tony for giving me the opportunity, and now I'm Dustin Three Belts.
That's right.
It's great, Dustin.
A lot of people were a little stressed out that you had to have two separate matches tonight as well. How are you feeling after that?
Knees are, a little sore, but I'll be fine. I get to go home tonight, get in my own bed, take some ice baths, get back Monday, get back in the gym. Let's go.
Get back to it. All right, guys,
Keep
the floor is open to media.
Hi, Dustin. Derek T. Lewis here with the D-Loop Podcast and Believe Network. I just had a question.
Yes, sir.
How does it feel winning the TNT Championship in your home state of Texas?
I don't really have the words for that, man. I'm still kind of shocked, to be honest. It feels incredible to finally get my hands on this thing that we've had some prestigious champions, and now I'm one of them, and it just it means a lot to me. And I want to carry this thing with pride and do my very best with my work ethic, like I always have. And, I'm just, kind of emotional about it right now still. I mean, my nephews came out there, the Bonds came out there. It was just a really special moment. And I love it. And I'm very thankful.
Dustin, you've been in AEW since day one for over 6 years. I think
Yeah.
it's true that you've been on our shows since the very first show over 6 years ago. You've been in huge matches on huge shows. Nobody deserves the opportunity tonight, and you made the most of the opportunity. So you truly deserve it. Thank you, Dustin.
Sir. Thank you.
Keith Elliott Greenberg with
Hey, Keith.
Inside the Ropes. Hey.
Yep.
You mentioned your nephews just now.
Yes.
Let's talk about the multi-generational significance of having both your nephews and Ross and Marshall Von Erich there, particularly because at one stage, didn't you want to brand your nephews the Texas Outlaws?
I did. And I thought, they were talking with their mom and stuff, and they really wanted to be the Rhodes brothers. So I have that name, we're holding on to it just in case they change their mind. Very special moment for them. Yes, the Von Erichs, the Rhodes brothers. I mean, the future's bright. And it's, I'm sure they're going to kill it no matter what, where they go, what they do. Right now they're at college, UT, studying hard. So college is very important. School is very important. So yeah, thank you for the question.
Hey, Dustin, I'm Jonathan with Behind the Ropes
Hey, John.
Media. You've been wrestling for over 30 years. How many more years can your fans expect? What's the mind say? What's the body say? And what's your family say?
Of course, my mind is always, telling me that I can do this forever. Once you're kind of born into this business, it's all you want to do. You become very passionate about it. My dad taught me really well. He taught me manners. He taught me respect. He taught me, to check my ego at the door and just work hard. And there's so many people in the business that do a lot of bad things to me and my view, and they get pushed through the moon. And it's not fair for somebody that works their ass off each week. But to finally do this now, my work has paid off, and I'm very proud of myself. I'm very proud that we always kick ass on pay-per-views. Nobody can touch us. Nobody.
2 more questions.
Stu.
D.
Hey, buddy.
Stu Murray, Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, and full disclosure, the Rhodes Wrestling Association and Academy. D. First of all, could not be more proud of you.
Thank you.
I know each other for years.
Yes.
You have had a lot of moments in your career. Where does this rank?
Somebody asked me that earlier today, and I was like, top 5, maybe top 7. Very special night, and I've had some great moments. And it's really hard to kind of put something before the other. There's so many good moments. I've forgotten a lot of moments, over the years. I've been doing it so long.
I remind you, it's funny because we talk about it a lot. I grew up as a big Dustin Rhodes fan myself, and he was like one of the first wrestlers I ever saw.
So here's a funny story. When I'm coaching a match, right, and I'm talking to the referee, it's very important spots are going on and all this and that. Tony will go, "Hey, man, you remember in 1991 in Detroit, Michigan, you did this move and you won by this?" And I'm like, "No, Tony, I don't."
The same. It's amazing.
But
psychology,
I mean,
past psychology and things like that, like the science of wrestling, it can apply. And you can look back at the lessons. And the crazy thing is Dustin's done so much wrestling. Only like the craziest historians would remember it all because Dustin's been so prolific, one of the most prolific wrestlers of all. Between questions, if I may, sir,
yes, sir.
What does it mean for somebody? I grew up, the first wrestling I ever watched on the Turner Networks, you were the top rising star. And this is almost 35 years ago, over 34 years ago.
Yes,
you
sir.
were the top rising star, aspiring wrestling, stunning Steve Austin for the TV title, for the world TV title on Turner. And I see the Turner Mansion here, the TNT title. There's a great legacy of this title. You were in the original TNT title tournament. That was probably the last time you wrestled 3 matches in 24 hours. You wrestled UNQT teamed against Dark Order 8 and 9, who later became 5 and 10 because they did a really good job. That was 8 and 9 were Allen in advance. And that was UNQT against them. And then you wrestled Kip Sabian and put everything on the line in the first round of the TNT title tournament. You won with your career on the line because you said if you couldn't advance in the tournament, you didn't want to wrestle anymore. You did that.
Yes.
Then you went into the semifinal, which was actually the last match we shot out of 33 matches in 27 hours in the gym. The entire month of April television in like 27 hours. And the last match was you versus Lance Archer.
Mm-hmm.
And Cody almost threw in the towel and you wouldn't let him.
Yeah.
And you came that close to making the final. And you've come so close. You wrestled Mr. Brody Lee in Daly's place for the title. You wrestled Sammy in Charlotte at the Battle of the Belts for the title. And Sammy was in the match tonight. You guys have been partners. You've been through so much. You wrestled Christian Cage on Dynamite for the title. What is it? How cool is it to be the champion of the network that you've spent so much of your life wrestling on?
So he knows everything about every wrestler At any time, it's great because he's so knowledgeable about this business. His love is, I mean, nobody tops it. He just loves this sport. It means a great deal to me to be TNT champion. Some of the funnest times I had in my career were in WCW. And I was killing it. And I was right on the cusp of getting there, you know, maybe entering the world title spot, a world title picture, you know, and things went a different way. And I, you know, ended up going to the other company. But to be back working on the network like this, TNT and TBS, is just very special. And now they've already put it on their homepage that, you know, I'm the face of the company now. So it's really, really, that means the world to me, man. I cannot, like, there's so many words I can say. I'm still shocked, but I love this company to death. I love this. I'm going to treat this like it's pure 18 karat gold, the whole thing, man. And just do the best that I can do, continue to stay on the path, to keep stepping, as my dad used to say, and just defend this thing. I want to be a defending champion, and I want to work hard like I always have. And now it's time for me to step up, and it means the world, I guess, I hope for TNT, TBS, and the company, but I know for Tony and myself and everybody here tonight, it's just a very special, honest moment that is just so hard to put into the correct words. Very emotional, very emotional. I'm very, very proud of myself, like I said, and this is it, man. I finally did it.
Dustin, massive congratulations. Obviously, you so deserve this. And now you get to drive home with this bad boy in your truck and get on home to that family.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Thank you, Renee, very much, baby. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, buddy.
I love you. Yes, sir. Very much. Yes, sir. Thank you guys very much.
Yeah, right.
I'm moving down here to make room for our next guest.
Thank you, guys.
Hi, Tony.
Hey.
Look at the brain on this guy.
Everything nobody does is put on paper like we do.
Thank you, Dustin.
Amen.
Killed it tonight.
You've been on the since the first one. You've been killing it. Thanks, Dustin Rhodes. Fantastic.
Whew. All right. Next guests, please welcome in Don Callis
Oh,
and the new inaugural unified AEW champion, Kazuchika Okada.
we're gonna need another belt holder, man. Holding 3 belts.
Yeah, I mean,
One,
we
he's
can move
unified
these in.
them.
We got 2.
This is
We
fantastic.
need a third.
I'm gonna need an assistant, Tony, to carry all these belts
Congratulations.
around. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you
Thanks
very
for
much.
having us.
Appreciate it.
This looks like Kenny's belt. I don't know.
It's very big moment for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's one of the greatest rivalries, I think, in all of sports. So here in this great stadium and on this great event on the biggest stage for AEW, I think it's very fitting that one of the greatest rivalries in sports, something akin to me, with, you know, something that transcends even pro wrestling, all competition. Congratulations to the unified champion, the man who brought together for the first time ever, made AEW history. We've been doing this over 6 years. Never has any man ever unified 2 AEW singles championships. And there's so much prestigious history behind, of course, the Continental Championship. And a lot of that is associated with you, Kazuchika Okada, the Rainmaker, and of course the international title. And I know this is a big moment for both of you because we have had a great international champion this year. We've seen a great comeback story, one of the greatest comebacks, I think, in sports with Kenny Omega. I know this was a big moment for both of you for big reasons.
Well, it's a pleasure. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Renee. And I would just like to say that I think it's a great night because we're all here to bear witness to a man that I like to say is the ace of all elite wrestling, a man who is the greatest big match wrestler I have ever seen, and a man who wrestled a flawless strategy here tonight, who not only became the first unified champion, he will go down in the history books along with me as the men who put Kenny Omega down for good. How does it feel, Okada-san, to be the best?
Yeah, I feel good because I finished Kenny and I was sorry. So, I mean, I ended it. So, get well soon, Kenny.
Yeah, we'll send him a card, a picture of you, and sign it. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you had a very precise strategy, I thought, in the match. You worked over Kenny's injury, which makes a lot of sense. I think it's a great comeback, though. What Kenny went through to get back into the ring was life-threatening. It's a miracle that Kenny ever got back into the ring, let alone competed at the highest level, won the international title, and made it to this point, wrestling Kazuchika Okada for the unified title tonight at All In.
It's very edifying for me, I just like to say. And I thank Tony for giving me this opportunity because I was there for the Kenny Okada matches in Japan. I advised Kenny in those matches. And now life comes full circle as it has a tendency to do. And now I'm managing the greatest big match wrestler I've ever seen, the greatest big match wrestler you've ever seen. And full circle, after 2 years plus of trying, Kenny Omega is done. It's the age of Okada.
Questions from the media?
Lyric Swinton, the takedown on SI. So the original 4 matches between you and Kenny Omega are considered a lot of fans' gateway into Japanese wrestling and really put New Japan on the map for a lot of international fans. Talk a little bit about what it was like to finally bring that rivalry on American soil tonight in Texas.
I think for us, I would say we took a story that, as Okada correctly said, was not finished. We took a rivalry that maybe not everyone had seen it, but they'd heard about it. They'd felt the world shake during that series of matches. And it felt so great to be here at a great facility here in Arlington, Texas, and to be on the biggest stage there is for all elite wrestling, to have Okada bring a taste of that rivalry right here to All Elite Wrestling. And I could not be happier. I could not be prouder of Okada. And I think now we move on to bigger and better things. I don't think anybody is going to be able to beat this man, Tony. I just don't see it happening. If Kenny Omega couldn't get it done tonight, I don't know if there's anyone on this roster. I mean, I'm sure you're going to try, but we're here for it.
Hello, Don Callis. Hello, Okada, Jorge Cervera with Lucha Libre Online. And I would like to know, as you said, there's no one that can beat Okada on the roster. So it's possible to see this title or the other titles be defended maybe on Mexico, Japan.
I think that I'm a global citizen, and I feel that I am doing the world a service by letting people in every remote corner, whether it's Mexico, Japan, you're anywhere, to get them to see live what greatness looks like. This is what greatness looks like. And it's sitting right next to me. This is the best Japanese wrestler I've ever seen. Better than Ricky Dozan, better than Inoki, better than Tanahashi. He's better than all of them. And we're going to keep proving it, whether it's Mexico, Japan, or right here in the USA, or maybe Canada.
Absolutely. And as a continental champion, we've seen Okada defending the title in Australia, Mexico, and taking big matches all over, and it's really exciting. Of course, it was something that with the unification with the international title, I think there's certainly going to be challengers from all over the world coming to AEW, coming to America, North America, and wherever we do shows. People are going to be coming out of the woodwork to fight the first ever unified champion. Again, we've been doing this for over 6 years. Nobody has ever been able to bring together 2 of the singles titles. It's a special occasion, and the match was something special. For me, this is something where even the video packages we put together were a dream come true for me. When we launched AEW, I would have given to be able to have that footage to show. And it meant so much all these years later to be able to show the history in very detailed history and give a great account of the rivalry between Okada and Omega going into this match. And the match was absolutely fantastic. It delivered so many ways. And one thing that we did was we had this match for the unified title, the first time we ever brought together two of the top AEW singles championships and crowned one champion this historic occasion. We did it under AEW's rules. In this case, for AEW rules, the referee's decision is final. We've gotten through this amazing run. Kazuchika Okada has been the Continental Champion. There's never been any outside interference. And if anybody ever interfered in a Continental title match, they would be fired. Tonight, we fought a match under the unified rules of AEW where the referee's decision is final. And in this case, the referee had no way of knowing who pulled them out or really doing anything after you incapacitated them. But if we had been...
Who did it?
If we had
I
been...
didn't see anything.
If we'd been under Continental rules, Don, I would have fired you for that. And going forward, this is a historic occasion. And going forward as the unified champion, because I think it's something that's really been special in AEW, the Continental rules, the Continental Championship, and somebody who has a lot to do with it, the Continental Champion, and the man who went out and won the Continental Classic and was the winner of, I think, one of the greatest wrestling tournaments of all time, went out and had this great match tonight. And now that the title is unified, the Continental Champion won the match. So going forward, the prevailing rules will be the Continental rules. So there will never be outside interference ever again in a unified championship match now that the Continental rules apply with the Continental Champion winning.
Tony, can I shake your hand? I think that's a great decision. I love this. And I'm going to tell you, that's why he's a genius. This is a great decision because I don't want any excuses. I don't want people going, oh, Don said this or Don did this or someone else did this. This is the best. This is what excellence looks like. And we're going to show it. I don't need to do anything. I have a hard time keeping my hands off of Kenny Omega because he's an ingrate. But going forward, I think this is a great rule. You won't have to fire me because I'll be right there watching what greatness looks like every week on your television.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And he's been the best wrestler under the Continental rules. So I think that's fair for everybody. And I think that's really kept AEW something that we've done in recent years that we've really found very additive in AEW, the Continental title, the Continental rules, and the Continental Classic, and the winner of the Continental Classic. So that's what will be the prevailing rules of the unified title. Now the Continental Champion and the International Champion, Kazuchika Okada.
Congratulations, Okada. Incredible match tonight with Kenny Omega. And enjoy the spoils of your victory.
Congratulations. Thank you.
And congratulations to Don Callis, of
Thank you.
course.
It's a big night for me too, Ray.
None of us
Thank
would
you.
be here
Thank
without
you.
Don Callis.
Thank you very much.
Congrats.
Thank you,
Okada's
guys.
on. All the best. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thanks, Jen. Congrats. Congrats to you. Thank you. Thank you.
I'll be wearing this at the after party.
Yeah, it's a big night for you, Don. I know.
Both belts.
You've been waiting for this one a long time.
Oh, man.
Well, we are having a
It's
great
addition, though. I like that.
Thank you. It's the Continental rules
Yeah.
are something special. And I think now that the Continental Champion won the match, those are going to be the prevailing
Love it.
rules of the unified title. Thank
Breaking
you.
news here at the press conference. Are you ready for our next?
Fantastic. This is
Guest?
great. We have a great lineup, and this is our
These
most
ones always make me a
entertaining-
little nervous. Do
most
they make you
entertaining
nervous?
guest. What a match.
All right.
What a
Please
match.
welcome our reigning, defending, and still the AEW Women's Champion, Timeless Toni Storm, and her orange juice.
Hello.
What are you laughing at?
I'm just, I think that this is really one of the most special days in AEW history. And I know that it's two of the greatest wrestlers of all time going one-on-one. And when you have two greats, in this case, there had to be a winner and there could only be one today. And I'm so proud of you. That's why I was smiling, laughing.
Well, I am overcome with emotion. I am overcome with joy. My panties have been creamed with delight. And I will not sell them. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't wear panties. They're a much fuller cut. Mostly, I'm humbled. And there's quite a lot of people that I would like to thank and quite a lot of people that I'd like to tell to go fuck themselves. So I've prepared a list for each. Mercedes Money, thank you for making me a better wrestler and a better woman. And for keeping your lips clean, all four of them. You taste great. When we meet again, as I know we will, I might not be so kind. Tony Schiavone, go fuck yourself. I know it was you in that bathroom stall. And to the fans, thank you. I don't know why you support me like you do, but if we all had good taste, none of us would be here. To Athena, go fuck yourself and each one of your minions, but also congratulations. Tony Khan. No comment. Luther, thank you for being reliably an idiot. I always know you'll never be there for me when I need you. And to Wendy Richter, go fuck yourself. Whether it's this lifetime or the next one, I will put you in a head scissor and never let go. And to Montel Vontavious Porter, thank you. It wasn't cheap, but that was the right strain for my various psychological disorders. And to the Rizzler, thank you. It wasn't cheap, but that was the right cheese for my various psychological disorders. And to my mother, go fuck yourself. If it wasn't for your imbalanced love and parenting, I would not have become inexplicably successful in this weekly coliseum of gay violence. I'll now be taking questions to, continue your content farming.
Hi, John with the Bruisers podcast. Tonight you've shown you are not a belt collector, but a belt defender. Sorry, right here.
Sorry.
Yes.
God.
How are you feeling after the match tonight?
Like absolute dog shit. It was a fight. It was a war. Did bloody good. Bloody proud of myself.
You did great.
Yeah, you did. Wonderful times.
Hi, Tony. Malcolm, muscle member.
Malcolm, good to see you.
Good seeing you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
A few weeks ago on Dynamite, you said, or a few days ago on Dynamite, you said, in this championship, I found myself. Within this reign after defending the title against Mercedes, what have you discovered about yourself being this champion?
Absolutely nothing. I'm sorry. I've learned absolutely nothing about myself through any of this. Yeah. I'm so sorry. I've learned nothing new since the last time I saw you. I think it was about 24 hours ago, Malcolm. And absolutely nothing has changed. I mean, a lot has changed since then tonight, but no, it's still the same. Aside from my panties. Very different.
Hi, Tony. Ryan Sillipan from the Panola Watchman. Can you talk about just the finish to the match there where you gave Mercedes a kiss before delivering, the super, almost like a super, your finisher? And was it almost like saying you're kissing your undefeated, your unbeaten streaker, or a single your unbeaten streaker AEW goodbye, or what was that exactly?
I just always really wanted to do that, to be honest. Oh, she did say one thing about me. She said, Tony, you're a mark. And I'm here to say that she's absolutely right. Maybe I just am a bloody mark. That maybe that's all I bloody am. So I wanted to kiss her, and I finally got to kiss her. I did not expect her to kiss me first. That was nice. But yes, I've just always been a big fan.
Last question.
Actually, Renee, I'm so sorry, but those pants are they're too distracting. Can we all just have a look and just a round of applause for Renee's pants?
Yeah. Thank you.
Look, come on, let's see these pants. Let's have a look at you. Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh my God, Renee.
Full spin?
I must have you. Let's go.
What?
Oh, I must have you.
All right.
Yeah, how do we? I've actually got very strong.
Oh, no.
Have a great night, everybody.
Congratulations, Luther. Well, congrats. Congrats, Luther. Safe travels. Well, we are in the solo tone zone, but not for long. That's not till later. We've got some more great champions, great stars from AEW. Adam, that was a little unexpected here, but we can keep things going. And let's bring in the winner of the AEW All In Texas Casino Gauntlet match, the ROH Women's World Champion. She's had a big weekend, a big week of wrestling. She's having an amazing week here in her hometown. Congratulations to the world champion.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great stuff. Great stuff from the Fallen Goddess. Dominant weekend. Since we had so much wrestling here in the Dallas Metroplex, this is our first chance to talk about the whole weekend of wrestling. You went out last night, continued years of dominance and great pay-per-views. You won the ROH championship here, I believe, in Arlington, Texas.
Yes, I did.
And it was years ago. You've dominated international competition. And now you've come back recently. You've been wrestling a lot more on AEW TV. This year we've seen you. You've been continuing to defend the ROH championship all over the world. You've traveled to Japan. You went to Mexico. And we've wrestled in Australia. You had a great match with Alex Windsor in Australia, who we saw come into AEW after some great vignettes. The first ever AEW Women's Casino Gauntlet match. I think one of the most exciting match types, certainly that we've ever started here in AEW, I think anywhere. And for you to win this historic match here in your hometown, for somebody who's had so many big wins all over the world as a world champion, I think certainly here in AEW, this was maybe your biggest win yet, and it sets the stage. You're guaranteed a world championship match in AEW as well. Congratulations, Athena.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm completely honored and kind of flabbergasted through the weekend, because it's been a very wild and long week with doing Media Wednesday, Collision Thursday, ROH pay-per-view Friday. I don't think I've wrestled this much back-to-back since I was in Japan. So it was quite taxing on the body, taxing on my throat. So I'm losing my voice. Please excuse me. But I'm just immensely excited and thankful for the opportunities to be able to showcase what Ring of Honor has been producing, not only doing what I always do, being a dominant champion, but also showing that AEW is now Athena Elite Wrestling. Is this yours?
That actually belongs to the AEW Women's World Champion, Timeless Tony Storm. Somebody who I'm sure you're very familiar with. You scout wrestling, you're a student of wrestling, and I'm sure after you won the Casino Gauntlet match, I know it was a big night for you, but I'd have to imagine knowing the contract you hold and what it means that you're guaranteed a shot at the AEW Women's World title, I have to imagine that you were keeping an eye on the championship match tonight with Timeless Tony Storm and Mercedes.
I actually watched it out in the arena side stage, and I did not prepare a statement. I do want to say that first and foremost, because I don't have to. All I have to say to Timeless Tony Storm is that I am forever. I've done this time and time again, being the forever ROH champion. And now that I'm in AEW, that is not going to change. I am here not only to make a legacy for myself, I am here to show the world that I have been the best wrestler in the entire world for years. And I don't care what she has to do. I don't care if she flails on the ground. I am here to bring AEW to new heights.
Congratulations on the win tonight. And I think it was even more special that we were able to have it here in a town where you've had so many great memories, where you won that championship and your hometown. What a way to come here and win the first ever AEW All In Women's Casino Gauntlet, our first ever pay-per-view Women's Casino Gauntlet, and a really exciting night for the company. Certainly one of the amazing highlights is your great win.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll turn it over to some questions.
Hi, Jonathan with Behind the Ropes Media. You've had a successful upward career since signing with AEW and Ring of Honor. What have been attributes to your early success and popularity in Ring of Honor and AEW?
I think it has a lot to do with the fans, to be honest with you. I have a lot of determination to be the best, right? I don't take that word lightly. I know it's thrown around a lot. People like to say I'm the best in the world, the greatest of all time. I like to show that through action. A lot of AEW has taught me that it wasn't going to be an easy step coming through the front door, right? I'll say it first and foremost. I was a little conceited. I was a little arrogant when I came here, and I got humbled very quickly. And I knew that in order to prove myself, I had to better myself. I had to work harder, try harder, because AEW is where the best wrestles. And I want to be at the top of that food chain. So in order to do that, it was double time in the gym, double time in the ring, setting more footage left and right, trying to break my brain from where I used to be in elevating and evolving myself into what I could become.
Tap, tap. Hello. Hey, Athena, Tony. Thank you for having us here. This is Rich with the Greatest Foe Show podcast. Athena, your reign as the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion has been
Forever.
Oh, I'm going to
Forever.
It's been historic.
Yeah, you can put that in front of that. Forever.
Unprecedented. And being our forever champion, because you're definitely mine. So I want to use the correct pronoun around here, right? But being our forever our forever champion, is this more impressive than a certain someone who's having his retirement match in Atlanta this evening?
Who?
Great answer.
What? I focus on me and my championship reign. I've traveled all around the world. I am a history maker. Time and time again, I have made history. I was the first woman to main event a pay-per-view in Hammerstein Ballroom, a first woman to main event under the Tony Khan banner. I am here to stay. I am focused on me and my championship reign. I don't care about anyone else right now. Right now, this is my time.
Champ, congratulations on an amazing week. Cam Hawkins, Yahoo Sports. We talked a couple of days ago about authenticity. As somebody who travels the globe, somebody who's wrestled all different types of women from everywhere, as somebody who trains, we're at a time now where there are more women wrestlers than ever. Can you just speak to the class coming up behind you about how important it is to be yourself and how that's gotten you to where you are?
Man, that's an interesting statement, because I feel like through failure, I found that. I tried to guide my minion through it, and she's learning the hard way. Whew. But you know what? She'll get it one day. She'll be herself and be organic. I feel like for so long, even when I was on the independent scene, when I first started, I had this vision of what I thought I was going to be, who I wanted to be. And in reality, I think I was a super spy. And I came out with a little paintball pellet gun, and I was like, I'm going to learn martial arts and do this. And it just was so unorganic. I got booed out of every arena by all 12 people. And I'm being dead serious, but like, I just found like being organically me. People tell me I'm funny. I think I'm mean. I mean, it's just putting myself out there on a platter, being vulnerable, not being afraid to be myself. And I think that's kind of really honed in on my success. It's honed in on me being able to talk on the microphone, which for so long, like that was a really hard thing, is to try to be someone else and talk. It's just me being me, right? I put me out there for you guys to love, hate. I don't care either way, because you can't deny me.
Okay, we'll do two more for Athena. Athena, congratulations, Ron Murray, K104.
Oh,
So
hey,
how you doing?
I
Good
know
to
all
see you.
about y'all. Hey. Sorry.
Welcome back, champ.
I'm a local.
So this is what I did want to ask you about, Athena Elite Wrestling, you put the flag down tonight. So how do you feel the Dallas-Fort Worth area supported, this whole week with AEW, so another event like this can come back to the DFW?
I think we did it tonight. Did we not?
Yeah.
Did we not? We had over, what was the number? Over 20, 22?
Almost 30,000. I mean,
Almost,
well over, I think close to 29,000, but when it's all said and done in here. So it was very, very impressive. And maybe by the time the walk up, close to 30,000. The most by far we've ever sold in America, our biggest event ever in America. And for you, the hometown champion and somebody who has had matches several straight days to fight through it and wrestle, I think, some of the best wrestlers in the world. In particular tonight, so many of the best wrestlers in the world were in that gauntlet match. As the person who conceptualized the Casino Gauntlet match, it's really an honor to have so many great veteran wrestlers in one match. And you came out and you won the match in very impressive fashion with the O-Face. And it was really something special. So I think that was a great moment on, to me, our biggest and best event we've ever had in AEW, all in Texas, for you, Athena.
Yeah, and to add on that, like Texas has so much legacy in pro wrestling, from the Sportatorium days to the Von Erichs to the Dustin. Like we have a legacy to uphold as locals. We are taught that when we first start wrestling. It's like, hey, like you're in it for the long haul here. You're in it to make towns, make roads, be the weekend warrior, if you will. Like it means so much more for me in Texas. And every time we have done a show here, whether it be at UTA, at their arena, the esports arena, in Garland at the Curtis Caldwell Center, and now at Globe Life, all the fans have always showed up. Like they know this is where the action is, this is where the energy is, and like they always show so much passion and fire. So I think as long as we continue that, and as long as your girls here, we're gonna keep moving forward.
Okay, last one for Athena.
Hi, Athena. Amy Nemedy with WrestleJoy. Last night at Ring of Honor, you and Thunder Rosa put on a barn burner of a match that tore the house down. And then tonight at the Casino Gauntlet, you had a huge reaction in the crowd for you. So you're the forever champion. Now you've got the opportunity to face Timeless Tony Storm. You've been killing it in Ring of Honor, but you've also got this Metroplex show that you're building up women, on the independent scene as well. Can you talk about your impact as a woman, sort of spearheading and working with other women who are elevating women's wrestling all around the country and honestly all around the globe, as you, the Ring of Honor Forever champion, and soon to be maybe potential AEW Women's World Champion as well? Thank you.
So yeah, I right before I started with AEW, I actually ended up purchasing a local indie promotion that was going out of business because the owner wanted to be with his kids and live a life with them other than running an indie promotion called Metroplex Wrestling. We run every Saturday out of Bedford, so it's a little difficult because my priority is always AEW and Ring of Honor, so I'm double tasking 90% of my week. But for over a year and a half now, we have been trying to plan a all women's wrestling show down to production, referees, announcers. And it's been like a really big passion project of mine because when I started wrestling in Texas, there were only 3 girls in the state. And I didn't really have a lot of guidance, and their names were Jessica James and Claudia. Claudia passed away a few years ago. But they took me under their wing and we made towns. They helped me out so much. And I look at such a young generation now and the gap of experience level from those of us that have traveled the world on the indies and those of us that are just getting started. And there's not a lot of crossover with that. So I wanted to provide a platform where these women can learn how to work TV style, learn how to wrestle with some of the best in the world and learn from them, as I've had that opportunity by traveling around the world, but make it in the home state of Texas, make it in the DFW area, and provide a platform that they can show who they are and tell their stories. So our first show is August 9th, if you don't mind me, boss.
That's good. That's a good plug.
I'm
support. I think you're going to be
Yeah.
working with wrestlers we together have worked with in AEW and Ring of Honor, so it's great, and I totally support it. I think we've talked about it. I think
Yes.
it's great. And I know a lot of the wrestlers and people you're using. I think I totally support it. We do a lot of great things here with women's wrestling, and you are a great student of wrestling and women's wrestling, so it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's just paying it forward and leaving the business better than when you got in. But yeah, our first show is August 9th, and I believe a few tickets are still available. They actually went very quickly, which I was quite shocked and very happy about. But you can go to metroplexwrestling.com if you guys are interested in that as well. So
Athena, congratulations on a great
Congrats, champ.
thank you.
Thank you very much. You did it. Great match. Great champ. And speaking of great matches and great champions, I think we have one more guest joining us here. Let's give it up to the winner of the Texas Death Match and the new AEW World Champion, and the man who has returned the belt to prominence and to sight, Hangman Adam Page. Congratulations, Adam.
Thank you.
Are you okay?
No. Why would I be okay?
Oh, boy.
Adam,
you can help the Hangman here.
Let me fix this right.
Congrats, Hangman.
Thank you.
Oh yeah,
There
I'm
you go.
feeling like shit.
Yeah, you did it.
Thank you.
You did it, man.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. It's been an incredible journey for me, professionally, personally, in every way possible. You know, not just the past year and a half or 2 years that I talk about so frequently, but at this point, almost the past 6, right?
Yeah, over 6 years we've done this.
Yeah, I mean, all of it. It's something that I never could have imagined that it would become. And I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of it.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Adam. It's amazing. And speaking of Adam, maybe you can take some questions for the champion. I know people have been waiting a long time to hear from the Hangman, and it means a lot that you would come in here and talk to the media and be the face of the company now after what you just went through in the Texas Death Match. Thank you, Hangman, again for that.
Thank you.
Righteous Reg, Pro Wrestling Illustrated and Grapsy Podcast.
Hi.
Hangman, you were counted out multiple times on your way up to the AEW World Championship. The Owen Hart tournament, a lot of people were like, this is Ospreay's tournament to win. And going into this match, people were like, the odds are all against you. How did you stay grounded and on the vision of what you needed to do?
Because I had to win this. I mean, I had to. I had spent so long. I mean, I lost the world championship at this point over 3 years ago. And I spent so long thinking that I had reached the pinnacle moment of my career, that, I was looking at a downhill trajectory for like the rest of my life. What I do for my life. I had reached the mountain of that. And between that and everything that I had been through in the past year and a half, like I needed to know for myself that I was still going to be able to live up to the potential that I had, because I had done that before. And I knew that this championship was my potential as a person. And I needed to know both professionally and personally that I could live up to it, that I could do this again. So I had no choice. Tonight being, our biggest show in North America, the stakes were obviously high, but I cannot imagine the feeling for AEW if after this gigantic show, Jon Moxley and the Death Riders had kept this championship. I cannot imagine the heartbreak that would have been for all of us. And that responsibility was on my shoulders. So I had no choice. It's what I had to do. Yeah.
Corey with Wrestling Observer. I actually want to kind of go back to what you were just saying. When you lost the title at Double or Nothing, you said obviously right now that you felt like you were on a downward trajectory in regards to your career. Do you feel that today is basically your validation of your first title reign, and now to have the pressure of being not only I won the title, took me a couple of years to get it back, I'm the guy now. Can you kind of put into your own words how you feel about that, and how basically this vindication of your first reign now obviously is the AEW World Champion?
Yeah, I mean, holding it for the first time, when I won the World Championship for the first time, my goal for so long, since the beginning of AEW, was to win the World Championship. And I did it. And then there's a morning after. And this is not something that I really thought about a lot in the first few years of AEW, because my goal was to win it. And this time I kind of understand what it means to win and to hold and to carry this. And I know what tomorrow morning is like. I know what, Monday morning will be like. I know what Wednesday will be like. I've been there. I've done it. I have expectations of how this will be. I have expectations of myself to live up to the responsibility that this is. I am proud of this. I'm very proud of this. This having been locked up for so long, I'm proud of this company and everything that all of us, collectively have been able to do. And I'm glad that, the first thing that I saw from this company is now back in the view of the entire world. Yeah,
hopefully that answers your question. Yeah.
Adam, Raj Prashad with Yahoo Sports.
Hi.
We spoke a few weeks ago.
We did,
about-
yeah. I
about
remember.
Redemption, the journey you've been through. To have that moment with Swerve tonight, and that to be right before you win the title again, how meaningful was that to you, and how do you reflect on that?
I'm going to have to think about that for a long time before I know an answer. He ruined my life for so long. And I did the same to him. And tonight, he chose on his own to make my life better. And I don't know if that is, I don't know if that's for me. I don't know if it's for this company, or I don't know if that's for himself. And I might never really figure that out. But it does feel good to be able to let go of a little bit of the past and to be excited about the future. Yeah.
Do two more for him. Rob Pasbani, thestunner.com. Maxwell Jacob Friedman won the AEW contract, and he's someone that you have been running into backstage for many weeks now, and it's clear he has your number. He has the Hurt Syndicate behind him.
He has my number?
I
don't know if he has my number.
He's searching. He's Googling your number.
Okay.
But how are you? I know you just got out of this crazy match. You probably have a lot of glass in your back, but are you ready for Max and the Hurt Syndicate to come for you?
Oh yeah, I fully expect it. I just beat John Moxley and the Death Riders and the Elite. I'm not terribly afraid of MJF and the Hurt Syndicate. Not to say that he's not a formidable challenger, but I've just done something that no one else in this company has been able to do now for 9 months. I'm not going to let that slimy son of a bitch take this away from me. There's nothing that he or they could do to take this away from me. No.
Okay, last one for Hangman.
Hi, Hangman. Haley.
Hi, we did an interview the other day, right?
Yeah, with Vice.
Yeah, I remember. Okay. Hi.
Thanks for that. My question is actually about Texas death matches because you're, I believe, 5-1 with your record now.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, like, when you're getting in the headspace for these matches, like, what is the process for you to kind of like dig deep inside? Like, what kind of headspace do you have to get in for these matches?
You can't get into that space until you are physically in it. I probably have slept a combined 8 hours in the past 3 or 4 nights. And, I've been in space all day. I haven't been able to think at all. People are talking to me and I can't make words come out right. Like, I've been an absolute disaster. I'm surprised I did the meet and greet yesterday. I'm surprised that went well. Like, I made the right words come out somehow. I've been an absolute mess this weekend. I've cried so much this weekend. I don't care. I'm proud of that. I've cried so much this weekend. I've had, you did it. You earned it. This has been a wild week. You cannot get into the headspace it takes to be successful in the Texas Death Match until you can smell another person's blood spilling out of their body. You can smell that. I don't know if people know that. You can smell it. I dug a fork into his head and I could smell it, and maybe a splatter or two I tasted. And the first Texas Death Match I had with Lance Archer, to be honest, I was terrified because I had no idea what that would look like. And in the middle of it, I kind of found that I liked it. In some weird, perverted way, I enjoy it. It's a high, it's a thrill. It's something I probably shouldn't be allowed to do. But yeah, you can't get into that headspace until you're in the ring. Yeah.
Hangman gets some well-deserved rest tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hangman. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. Thank you a lot. Oh, stand up.
Thank you, champ.
Thanks. Oh. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate it.
Thank you, dude. Congratulations, Hangman.
Thanks, guys.
What a day. What a way to end the great day. Thank you. That was fantastic.
Before we open up to questions, anything you want to say about the night?
Yeah, thank you very much for that, Adam. There's a lot I want to say about this week. I really appreciate the support. I have to give it up, first of all, to the fans, to support wrestling 52 weeks a year, to have this be the only sport in the world, professional wrestling, that goes 52 weeks a year. It's already amazing. And with AEW, I think we've built a really great schedule where we do this 52 weeks a year with no breaks. But to have something like this week where across Wednesday Night Dynamite, Collision normally on a Saturday like today was on Thursday. We had a great pay-per-view last night with ROH Supercard, and I think our best event ever today here at AEW All in Texas, our most lucrative, our most fans we've ever had in America, the biggest gate, and I think the best show, certainly the best ending. A very fitting moment and a very deserving champion. A lot of great deserving champions up here on this stage, and great things about this show and about AEW in 2025. I would be remiss before we get into the questions, because I want to hear what you have to say. Please, I would just like to get out there. I'm very grateful to all the wrestlers on the show. I'm very grateful to the fans. Like I said, supporting wrestling 52 weeks a year, and especially everybody who watched any of the past 4 days, and particularly all of them, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and most of all today, Saturday. I'm excited to see you all Wednesday. It means a lot for me to go back to Chicago and to have AEW Dynamite and have these great shows there. It's very near and dear to me, close to where I grew up, and a home to me, Chicago, Illinois. And I have so many great things to say about the people that were on the stage with me and all the great wrestlers. In addition to the fans who support wrestling, we wouldn't be able to do this without the wrestlers. And I'm going to talk about them a lot. I'm also very grateful to the staff, somebody that it's really important to talk about. It wouldn't be possible to do wrestling 52 weeks a year, or particularly 4 straight nights of the biggest week of the year for AEW when we're having such a great year. It's not possible to have a 2025 like AEW's having without the staff, the people in front of the camera and the people behind the camera. They were just doing a great job this week, and I think a lot of you saw that firsthand. So thank you. Oh, wow. Thank you. That's really classy. Thank you. You don't have to thank you for doing that. That is, I don't ask for that. You don't have to applaud in our press conferences, but I appreciate you doing that. And you're very kind to be here supporting the show. I'm excited to talk to you. It would not be possible also, frankly, in addition to the wrestlers who do this year round and the staff and, of course, the fans, it wouldn't be possible without the great media who cover us. A lot of you have been covering AEW since we launched over 6 years ago. It means a lot to see so many of you today. We started the pay-per-view early today, so normally we'd be here at the Scrum later. So I can try even more so than usual. I always do try, and I'll try to give 110% today and answer as many of your questions as I can. But I would be also remiss before I start if I didn't say it was a great day. The fans have wanted to see a hero in AEW rise up, and it was very fitting to have AEW's anxious millennial cowboy, our great star, somebody who's been aspiring to this moment for so long, and somebody who's been in AEW since day one and a focus of AEW since day one, to be the focus of that great moment, to have the cowboy win the Texas Death Match here at AEW All in Texas, our biggest stage possible. It was really special. And I would also be remiss if I didn't thank the 6-time world champion, the 4-time AEW world champion, Jon Moxley, who's also been here since the first show. And whether you agree with everything he did or not, he's been one of the most important people ever in AEW. He has done so many great things for AEW, even though he kept the championship in the briefcase, and he pushed people way too far, and he crossed the line many times, crossed the line with people I love, including Bryan Danielson, crossed the line as champion. You can question the methods, but I think Jon Moxley made AEW better as the champion. AEW is having a great 2025, and until this afternoon, until this evening, for the entirety of 2025, the world champion has been Jon Moxley. I think he pushed people, but he also made people better. I feel like in 2025 with Jon Moxley there every week, which if you notice, Jon Moxley is on Dynamite and Collision almost every single week. He's at all the shows, which I really respect because I've been at every show ever and every Dynamite and every Collision ever. So to see somebody else coming every week, and even if you don't agree with the example he sets in the ring, he sets a great example as a pro wrestler. He's one of the hardest working people. Look at the condition he's in and has continued through the hardest hitting matches, the kind of punishment he's been through, a match like tonight and all the great matches along the way. And it's like Hangman said, everybody in the company tried. Everybody tried to topple Mox. And he did a lot of things to make AEW better in the end. And I think we're all better off for Jon Moxley having been the champion. And that is what allowed us to have such a incredible conclusion to a very special day here in AEW. And I think a special day for the wrestling fans. And I know for our staff and our wrestlers, and hopefully for some of you, even though I know you get paid to cover wrestling, I have a feeling a lot of you are wrestling fans. So you don't have to say it. I'm not asking for it, but I hope you enjoyed it. And now I get to hear what you think and answer your questions. So thank you for giving me that. And now we're into the solo tone zone with you, the wrestling media. Hey.
Hey, Tony, John Alba,
Hey, John.
Takedown on SI.
Hey, John.
Congratulations. Great event.
Thank you.
I think a lot of us who have been covering pro wrestling for a long time know that Adam Cole is one of the true good guys of the industry as a human being. Clearly a sensitive situation, and I recognize that, but what kind of insight can you provide on where things currently stand with him and how you went about making some of the decisions today?
Well, Adam Cole's been very, very important since he arrived at AEW All Out 2021. Along with today, I think that's one of the best events we've ever had. And Adam Cole's arrival was a major moment in AEW. And then he's done so many great things. He main evented the first AEW All In at Wembley Stadium. And he's really a great person. I agree with everything you said. Adam Cole's a great human being, but he's a great wrestler. He cares about wrestling, and the people in wrestling, the people in the locker room love him, and the fans love Adam Cole. So I think that was really hard to hear for everybody. It was hard for me to have a conversation like that, but I fully support his decision to take some time. And I felt like the right thing to do would be to vacate the championship and to give Adam Cole time off, but also to give Adam Cole the time to talk to the fans tonight. So it involves some changes. And yesterday we were absolutely planning, even last night when I was at ROH Supercard of Honor, we're planning for the pay-per-view. We had absolutely put everything in place for Adam Cole to defend the championship against Kyle Fletcher. Adam Cole's been a focus of AEW in 2025, and in Collision almost every single week. I think this year we've seen Adam Cole, and I was really looking forward to Kyle Fletcher versus Adam Cole for the championship tonight. And coming out of Collision, of course, we had a great 6-man tag match. It was a trios match with Kyle Fletcher and RPG Vice, Rocky Romero, and Trent Beretta versus the Paragon of Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and Adam Cole. And the trios match, coming out of it, Adam Cole, he came back. We talked. He was definitely planning to be at the pay-per-view, and even yesterday we had talked, but very somewhere between late last night and early this morning, let's say, earlier this morning, we talked, and he just wasn't feeling well. And that's the unpredictable nature of some of these kinds of injuries. And I think it's really important Adam Cole takes the time to get right, because he's a great figure in AEW. He's been a great TNT champion. He won the first ever Owen Hart Foundation tournament at Double or Nothing. He's been a great champion in Ring of Honor and all over the world. And like Adam Cole has said himself, almost every company he's been in, he's been a top guy in front of the camera. But also, I think those of us who work in wrestling know also a top guy in almost, I think it's fair to say, over the last 15 plus years, every locker room Adam Cole's been in. He's been one of the most respected, revered people. So it was certainly hard for us to hear that. But I spent the night thinking about how to address it. And I felt like the fans did deserve to see the TNT title defended. And I think given the emotional nature that we weren't expecting of Adam Cole going out and speaking from the heart and giving his honest feelings, that he just needs to take some time. We don't know when he'll be able to wrestle or when he'll be able to speak to the fans again, but I just want him to take some time and just get, the right thing to do was for him to vacate the title and just talk to the people and have that moment with the fans, because the fans all over the world have a great connection with Adam Cole. I mean, we just saw Adam Cole as the TNT champion in Grand Slam, Mexico. What a great reaction in Arena Mexico for Adam Cole. And it was the first time AEW has been there with Adam Cole, and to see the fans knew the boom and the Bebe and the Adam Cole was so popular in a new environment for AEW. He's one of the stars that the people wanted to see when they came there. And I think when you think of AEW, Adam Cole really is one of the people that's beloved by the fans and somebody associated with AEW for the past almost 4 years he's been here. So it was really hard. And I knew, given the emotional nature and frankly, it would be hard to hear for a lot of people and some sad emotions. I wanted to give the people an opportunity to have a match, and it worked out. It was to have a storybook moment. Thankfully, Dustin was able to pull it out, and it's pretty incredible to have Dustin at this point. 3 matches in 24 hours across multiple promotions, multiple kinds of matches, and it made a lot of sense. Dustin in there with 2 former TNT champions, and the #1 contender. Kyle Fletcher had gone out and wrestled Daniel Garcia in the main event of Collision 100. And they had both confronted Adam Cole at the beginning of Collision 100. It was a great show, a great event. Adam Cole, throughout this entire 2025, has been basically on Collision every week, wrestling, singles, tag matches, trios with the Paragon, commentating, just about everything you could ask for. And we all really believe in him. And when I heard he was out, I wanted to give the fans a great match, and it made sense to have the #1 contender go out and fight a former champion who's been in the mix, the person Cole defeated for the title, give Daniel Garcia another chance on the big pay-per-view stage, to have Sammy Guevara, a 3-time TNT champion, who won a $100,000 4-way and has re-entered AEW recently, but also been reinvented as a tag team champion with Dustin Rhodes. And then, of course, Dustin Rhodes, who, like I said, I mentioned it before, but just to reiterate, Dustin Rhodes has been so close so many times. And I'm very cognizant of that. Just to reiterate, Dustin Rhodes had close calls. He had close calls in the original TNT. He was in the semifinals to be the first ever TNT champion. And as I said, it was in April 2020 when we were crowning the first champion. I think that was probably the last time Dustin wrestled 3 matches in 24 hours. Because like I said, he had the match with 8 and 9 on Wednesday night. And then he had wrestled Kip in the first round. But then, of course, Lance Archer went to the finals at Dustin's expense. Cody almost threw in the towel on Dustin then. And Dustin wanted to fight on, and he fought and had a great semifinal match. And then he got even closer to the title. He wrestled Mr. Brody Lee in September of 2020 in Daly's place in a great championship match with maybe the greatest TNT champion, I think, ever, Mr. Brody Lee, who had a very special run that Dustin was a part of then, with a great match in September 2020, I believe, right after All Out 2020. And then we had, of course, Dustin and Sammy, partners, Sammy being in this match. Sammy at Battle of the Belts in Charlotte 2022 was able to advance and then become the TNT champion after winning the interim match to win the interim title at Battle of the Belts in Charlotte. And then Dustin, again, against Christian Cage last January, was so close to winning the TNT title. He's come close so many times. So I wanted to give him that opportunity. And then Dustin went out and created that magic. And I think it was really cool that we were able to bring so much positive emotion from the fans and from so many people all over the world and find that amazing silver lining in what was really challenging emotions, to have somebody that's so respected by the fans and all the staff and everyone who works in wrestling and in our locker room, all the wrestlers and really wrestlers all over the world, So I think that worked out really well. And Dustin Rhodes captured a storybook moment for the fans. And we really made a fantastic, wonderful, historic, beautiful lemonade out of really challenging lemons. And I echo Hangman's statements about if Hangman said he slept 8 hours in 4 days, I believe me, I've slept a lot less than, so I believe I'm right there with him. And but I haven't been through what he went through, and not even close to it. It's really amazing what Hangman was able to put himself through and do for AEW. But there's another Adam I wanted to wish my best to, and another great champion for AEW who we all love very much, and that's Adam Cole. We talked last night, and I think it was pretty much when we talked, and it felt, I think it was both of us immediately reached the conclusion this makes a lot of sense when he was not feeling right to go out for this on this big moment. He, believe me, he's one of the greatest pro wrestlers in the world. He knows if it's not, we both know it's not good. He doesn't feel very well if he's not able to go out and wrestle a championship match on the biggest show that AEW's ever done in North America. And we're having this great year, and he's been a huge part of it, coming here every week. And after what he'd been through, being such a huge part of AEW, and then watching us really have this great year, and him being a part of it and being part of the team every week again, that's been one of the real highlights for us backstage as a company, and for the fans to see Adam Cole again. So it is hard, but again, we were able to get some great emotion after that with Dustin Rhodes, and there's so many great emotions throughout the night. So a lot of positives, even though there were some hard things too, and that's what wrestling's about, right? There's hard moments and there's great moments, but Adam Cole, he's going to be around, and he's a big part of AEW, and hopefully he'll be here forever. I just don't know when the next time he'll be wrestling is, but he's definitely still part of the team and the family here with us. Thank you. Thank you, John.
Okay, more questions for Tony?
Hi, Tony. Will Pruitt from ProWrestling.net. Seeing the Hangman Page kind of saga culminate tonight, and also the Death Riders, the Jon Moxley losing the title, I wanted to know, how far in advance do you think about things like, do you think about long-term story arcs, say All In to All In AEW, and what kind of planning goes into that for you?
This is certainly something I could have imagined last year at All In, that this would have been, but who knows? I mean, it has to play out. Everyone has to step up and play their part. You can just like in football, it's great to draw things up on a piece of paper, but the players have to go out and execute. And a lot of times then things happen, and you call audibles in football. People go out there. There's injuries. There's unpredictability. You think somebody's going to zig and they zag. So then you have to do the opposite of what you might have thought you were going to do. But in this case, this is one of those times where I really think that when we were at All In last year, and knowing that Bryan Danielson had that amazing moment, I sat on the stage at All In last year in Wembley Stadium with London, and that was a great day. And it was totally different kind of emotion, and the company was in a different place. And right now it feels very special because the company's having this amazing year. This is a real high point for us, but also looking back, if Bryan had to step away, it's great Bryan reached the highest heights, but also that the way Bryan was taken out, if you look back, it really got the company to a great place. Like I said, there were a lot of things that were hard. You may not have agreed with Jon Moxley's tactics as the champion, or the way he treated the locker room and beat up a lot of the wrestlers, and really is one of the most brutal pro wrestlers, as you saw, the kind of brutality and the kind of lengths he was willing to go to time and time again to dominate the company. But also, we all got better with Jon Moxley as the champion. AEW got better with Jon Moxley as the champion. So I take my hat off to him. But at the same time, if, again, positives you can take from something hard, if Bryan Danielson had to step away from wrestling after that championship match and what Mox did to him, and after it broke up their wrestling family, then it's a really positive thing. And where we've gotten here at All In Texas, to have that Texas death match be the culmination. And that's a special thing about wrestling, when your imagination can play out, but there's no, but that's what's, like Hangman said, nothing can prepare you for what this kind of competition is. So believe me, whether it was in the pandemic or like John was asking me about today with Adam Cole, who had a great series of matches in 2025, and also has been a big part of the shows week in, week out on every week on Collision, and a lot of the Dynamites too. And like I said, went down to Mexico and was part of our biggest show of the year, Grand Slam Mexico. Certainly nobody predicted even 24 hours ago that Adam Cole wouldn't be defending the TNT Championship tonight, or that Dustin Rhodes would be the TNT champion. So there's a lot of changes and things happen. But I also gave some thoughts earlier this week, and I think it was an interesting point actually to bring up, because I haven't used the analogy as much, but it's frankly a great comparison in sports. When you have a great deep team, it's important to remember there's only so many spots. In football, you're using 11 players at a time. In basketball, there's 5 players in a shift. There's individual sports, but there's playing time, and not everybody on the team is always on the floor, is on the pitch, is on the field at every snap or every play of every game. And it's important to remember, as things happen, as the roles change, as people get injured, as people need breaks, as the flow changes, as you read things and realize you want to change something from your original plan, things change. It's always great when you can have a long-term vision, but it's also important to be able, I think, to follow things week to week to week, especially in an era where wrestling television, 104 episodes of Wednesday Night Dynamite and Saturday Night Collision, and the partnership with Warner Brothers Discovery, and putting the shows on 52 weeks a year with great wrestling and compelling rivalries and the best wrestling and the best wrestlers in the world. That's very important. And that media partnership and doing that twice a week, 52 weeks a year, truly is a lifeblood that makes it possible to reach these kind of tentpole major events, like the biggest stage, AEW All In. It's a collaborative, a complementary relationship between doing 52 weeks a year of television and to get to these moments, because we've been talking about All In Texas for so many months, and building and building and building to All In Texas. And I think we did a great job as a company, as a group, making this feel like the culmination of something really special. And then everyone came together to achieve it. Hangman, front and center, is the face of it, is the quarterback who made it happen. And everybody, including the fans, are the team who played a huge part in it. And of course, the locker room. And again, I have to take my hats off to Hangman's competitor, who is the most decorated champion in AEW's history, and the first man ever to hold the IWGP World Title, the WWE World Title, and the AEW World Title, the most decorated, prestigious champion ever here in AEW, Jon Moxley. Thank you.
Hello, Tony. Jorge Cervera with Lucha Libre Online. I want to ask you 2 questions.
Sure.
Very quick.
Okay.
You got this great partnership relation with the CMLL. So I would like to know, in your opinion, how important is the culture of the Lucha Libre into AEW? And if it's possible to have a show talking about Latin America, maybe on Chile, Puerto Rico, because it was a great success, the show at Mexico with the CMLL at Arena Mexico. So it's possible?
I hope we can continue visiting new territories, but I know that we're taking it one step at a time, and this was a major step for the company. One of the real highlights of the year, this has certainly been the culmination and a real highlight, but one of the most important parts of the year, and certainly one of the most successful nights ever, and one of the biggest Dynamites and one of my favorite nights, is Grand Slam Mexico. And I want to go back to Arena Mexico. I think Grand Slam Mexico, we can hopefully, if they'll have us, and it sounds like from talking to Salvador, he will have us back in the Cathedral of Lucha Libre, CMLL's home, Arena Mexico. They were such great hosts to AEW, and it showed that they're such great partners and hosts, but also the kind of collaboration and the synergies and the quality of the partnership and the show that we put on. AEW working with CMLL in Arena Mexico to put on Wednesday Night Dynamite for the first time ever, put on AEW show for the first time ever in Mexico, working with CMLL. The response and the fact that it was the biggest Dynamite viewership in a year, and in some of the key demographics that the network looks at about a year and a half, it really speaks. And that was in a time where we were not simulcasting, which is such a huge part of this now, which has made it possible to grow and expand even more. That Dynamite is still a huge part of Wednesday night every week on TBS and Saturday night every week on TNT, but the show is now streaming on HBO Max every week. That number, that's the best number we've done on TBS or any channel in a really long time, but it's also, frankly, in a time when we weren't simulcasting, we didn't have the streaming audience. So when you look at everything together, I don't have all the streaming figures. I honestly don't know the exact number, but I know that it had to be the most people watching the show in a very, very long time. And that shows that there's interest in AEW and working with CMLL, the partnership we have. I love Lucha Libre, and I'm very happy. I mentioned before when we were with Don and Okada that it was a dream come true to even have the video for the video packages with Okada and Kenny. I'm a big CMLL fan. It's really cool to work with them. We didn't have that relationship. It really came a couple years ago, and it's built. And Salvador and I, we did a Zoom in 2023, and AEW's having this great 2025, and all these seeds we planted, even though not every single thing we did over the past few years, not every single thing is always going to work. Nobody bats 1,000, but all the seeds we planted have grown. We bloomed so many great things. One of the great things is the relationship with CMLL. So to be able to put that show on, and for Salvador to tell me he wants to have us back, hopefully we could do Grand Slam Mexico again. And I think it can be a success again. It was already one of the biggest successes we've had. But as a big fan of Lucha Libre, I'll spare you coming up here and saying all the names of my favorite wrestlers from CMLL in the early 2000s. But when Mystico was on top before he departed, that's really the era, the whole 2002, 2001, 2002 to kind of 2010 was when I was a huge CMLL fan. I followed it too then after, but Mystico is one of my all-time favorites. He was such a huge star, and to have Mystico be a part of the AEW presentation, part of our AEW All In, go to Arena Mexico and embrace him like the kind of iconic star he is, and then bring in a lot of the top stars in Lucha Libre from CMLL that we've worked with, like Mascara Dorada, Atlantis Jr., of course, and Mystico, Persephone, La Catalina, and so many others. It's just been great, but also to have AEW's top stars go to Arena Mexico and do very, very well. We've seen so many great stars earlier. Last year we saw the BCC go down there with Bryan Danielson and John Moxley and Claudio. Matt Seidel was there, and then they had a great showing. But now in more recent shows, we've seen Mercedes Moné at Grand Slam capture the CMLL World Championship, and now be a more active part of our team down there. MJF is the American champion down there, and MJF's got some personal rivalries down there now, and a lot of history in CMLL he's built as a really hated Rudo. And certainly for AEW, it's really cool. First of all, for me, before I get to his partner in this great match that I'm about to talk about, but also winning 4 million pesos at Grand Slam Mexico, and that's Hologram, who's undefeated in AEW and has also made a great impression now in CMLL and really grown his career and one of the rising stars in Lucha Libre. To have somebody that I worked on the Hologram gimmick and have them go to Arena Mexico and be a part of a match like Mystico and Mascara Dorada versus Hologram and Bandito, that was such a fantastic match. So that was special. And then I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the Ring of Honor World Champion Bandito. I know I posted the photo with him in Salvador, but this is for Bandito to go and have the kind of matches he's having. Because let's really look at Bandito just in recent weeks, okay? First of all, what a rivalry, Bandito and Takeshita. And I also think, you have to look at the budgets of the shows, because we have hundreds of millions of dollars in the AEW TV contract across Dynamite and Collision, that for what we do on Ring of Honor, the big pay-per-view tentpoles, they always deliver. And I think this was maybe the best show yet. And it culminated in maybe the best Ring of Honor title match I've ever seen. Certainly for the men's world title and the time I've owned it, I think Bandito versus Takeshita was just fantastic. I have so many great things to say about both of them. We're wishing Takeshita the best of luck competing in the G1. But to have Bandito go and do the things, and what I'm about to say about the TV is, I think this year there have been really standout Ring of Honor TV shows. So for the people who watch it, we do the show not necessarily live every week, but there have been some great episodes. I thought the Global Wars Australia was a very, very good show. And then I thought Global Wars Mexico was one of the best Ring of Honor television shows they've ever done, with one of the best championship matches in the history of Ring of Honor. There also Bandito versus Mascara Dorada. But even incorporating the AEW television into the Ring of Honor, we saw Athena and Thunder Rosa have really built their rivalry, and a lot of the matches that kind of helped, I think, build some of the anticipation for the women's casino gauntlet match. As the person who, frankly, coached the women's casino gauntlet match, produced that, and produced the, every casino gauntlet match that there's ever been in the history of casino gauntlet matches. I thought that the all-star tag matches, even having stars from Ring of Honor and AEW Incorporated, made sense, and also helped further things in Ring of Honor. And some of that stuff in AEW and Ring of Honor would have gone differently. The injury, I did know going into this week, but I did make changes earlier in the week. We talked about making changes just in the last, probably 12 out, 15, I guess 15, 12, working on it for 15 hours or whatever in the middle of the night, to make a good solution with making changes for the TNT Championship match. But speaking of the great TV titles, the Women's World TV Championship in Ring of Honor, Red Velvet, she's done a great job representing the company as a World TV Champion. She's gone to Arena Mexico and made a great impression. And really, for a relatively new championship in the world of wrestling, the women's TV title is at a great profile. She's really helped raise the profile, being a great ambassador. That's something I really value, somebody who goes down to Arena Mexico, which has been a great partner for AEW, and to go down in there and put in a great shift, that's going to score huge points with me and even really raise the prestige of the title, I thought Red Velvet has. So I'm excited. I was disappointed that Red Velvet couldn't wrestle, but also it's the right thing to do because it seems like it hopefully could be a manageable injury. It's not going to be, years and years that she's going to be out or anything. We're eventually, hopefully, going to have a match. And if Mina Shirakawa can keep retaining the interim Ring of Honor World Women's Television Championship, I thought that was a fascinating thing to have Mina Shirakawa, who then was involved with the Ring of Honor World Champion Athena in the pinning sequence as Mina tried to put the figure 4 on and got caught with the O-face, which was an incredibly exciting way to have the match culminate. And interestingly enough, with the brand new interim Ring of Honor World Women's Television Champion getting pinned by the Ring of Honor World Women's Champion, who's held the belt for years and was actually teaming with Red Velvet in the match she got hurt in against Persephone, who's another great wrestler who was in that match, and Thunder Rosa, who teamed with Athena in ROH, Thunder Rosa, who wrestled Athena in ROH, but also was in these tag team matches in AEW against Athena for weeks. I think that helped having the rivalries across AEW and ROH, being able to call them together when it makes sense. We saw Dustin Rhodes today as somebody who actually became a champion now in both ROH and AEW at the same time. That's happened before. It'd be interesting now with Athena having the right to challenge for a world championship. So we've done a lot of exciting things with ROH this year, but somebody who was in ROH even before I owned the company that I have a lot of respect for is Bandito. And to go back and look at what Bandito's done in recent weeks, he had this incredible match with Takeshita, but they've really built this rivalry. Takeshita put the challenge out at Global Wars Mexico after Bandito retained the title. Another one of the greatest matches, like I said, against Máscara Dorada. One of the best tag team matches we've seen all year was Bandito and like I said, Bandito and Hologram against, I loved the Bandito and Hologram against Máscara Dorada and Mystico match, but I was also about to say that I really loved the Brody King and Bandito versus Protashita, Takeshita, and Fletcher match on Wednesday. The six-man tag, I think, with Bandito and Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly against Young Bucks and Takeshita was absolutely fantastic. There's been a lot of great matches along the way in the Takeshita-Bandito rivalry, but Bandito, I think, all around is having one of the best years of any wrestler in the world. He's a great world champion, and he is somebody who's had a great week, but I think he's just having a great summer, one of the best wrestlers in the world right now. And he had a great match last night too. So I'd be remiss not to bring him up. And working with CMLL and having these great stars in AEW who are great Lucha Libre stars who are now also becoming, I think, fan favorites and being well-received and respected stars in Arena Mexico. We're making huge progress there. And I'm very appreciative of the partnership and working with them. Thanks for asking.
Tony, I think we'll do 2 more so we can get our media to the post-show after party as well.
Oh, good.
Hi, Tony. Alex Lajas with Instinct Culture. Congratulations on tonight. Is there any update that you can share with us about the women's tag team titles?
Well, it's a great question. I think we've been having to it's unfortunately, like I said, I gave a pretty nuanced answer. I have, if I had sent a bracket out, I would have changed the bracket in the last few weeks several times. And it's been a lot of changes. One of the most valuable wrestlers in AEW and a great world champion has been a great example of this. Jamie Hayter, somebody I would love to have utilized today, somebody I would love to be featuring in the marketing of Forbidden Door in the UK, who's a great star in the UK, and would fit like a glove with the kind of great matches we've been having. And, we saw her get attacked by Tekla, who's been running roughshod. And that's one of the things I said. It's hard when you have a roster and we have great depth across the roster. And I think the depth of the women's division has continued to grow and get better and better, where we can sustain these injuries and put together something as ambitious as a great casino gauntlet match tonight, even missing some great names that might have been really great in the match, but weren't necessarily available that I would have also liked to have gotten in addition to all the great people we incorporated. And we were able to tell all these great stories when you think about how many cool things there were in that match, whether it's Statlander and Megan Bain going back to their great matches, and maybe Megan Bain's had Stat's number at times. They both earned these spots and they were hitting each other hard, trying to get throw bombs at each other before all the other competitors got out there. And then Statlander's had this great rivalry with Willow. Willow's had some close calls. She's a former TBS champion, would be a great champion for any company, could be a great world champion, certainly would be a great challenger, and somebody who's really respected, great star by the locker room, and of course, revered by the fans. So many great stars throughout that match and rivalries. I mentioned Athena and Thunder Rosa had a rivalry that had encompassed AEW and, of course, in Ring of Honor, and had a great match last night, and they were both a big part of this match today, even down to the end. Some new arrivals with Alex Windsor, who we've been seeing videos week in, week out on AEW, saying she was going to arrive. Sherry, we saw last night at Supercard of Honor, said she's coming to ROH and AEW, but who knew it would be today? That was a fun surprise coming out of the great events from last night and international wrestling. I think the roster is growing, changing, so I'd like to get some stability, and that's really important coming out of this, but it's something I'm very interested in. Both tag team divisions had been hit for a time by injuries, and now I think we're doing more and more multi-person matches on television, and in this case, going to a casino gauntlet match, it gave a different energy, and I was able to tell a lot of stories in this women's casino gauntlet match. I thought maybe the first time I did one on television, when Tony pulled it out, the rookie Tony with the small package in the first ever women's casino gauntlet match, which was also very special. That was a great match, but I think we've come even a long way since then. We're able to tell a lot of great stories. So I think we're heading in that direction. It's something I'm very interested in. And I think and then in a future gauntlet match could add even more to stories, but also would have a great tag division where hopefully we can have great tag team matches up and down. I think there was great tag matches, certainly leading to that gauntlet match, 8 woman tags, all-star 8 woman tags. And we've had some great tag team street fights, and we're building more units. There's been some changes to those. I had Harley's another great example. I did get Harley physically featured, but there's only so much she can do. She's limited from contact. Obviously, she's wearing that mask, but I did want to have Harley out there, and she got a great reaction. So it's just some examples of some of the changes I mentioned with Tekla attacking Jamie Hayter, and Jamie Hayter being out now for a long time. Queen Aminata has stepped up, and boy, she made the most of her minutes. She had done really some great things in AEW and in ROH, and has been a top challenger in ROH. And has had some highlights in AEW, but I think probably the highlights of her wrestling career and definitely of her AEW run have been this rivalry she's really building, and the tension with Tekla, which we saw again tonight. Some interesting things, some debuts, a lot of great things, and we're building out the roster. But I want to have more great women's tag team matches, and the men's tag team division. One of my focuses this year has also been trying to build that back up and get it back to as 2025 is such a great year for AEW. I think it's gotten stronger and stronger and stronger. The Young Bucks returned at Dynasty, and FTR have consistently been the greatest tag team. I think certainly every week on Collision, and along with the Young Bucks and the Briscoes, one of the greatest tag teams of all time. I think, certainly you have to give it up to FTR. Like I said, the Bucks have been back since Dynasty, and maybe better than ever. I thought that Swerve and Will Ospreay tonight, though, came together, 2 of the greatest single stars, and had one of the best tag team matches I've ever seen. And I'd be remiss if I didn't really spend some time talking about Swerve and Will Ospreay and the Young Bucks. Very different relationship with all 4 of them. But there's a part of me that would have to admit that after what happened to me on screen with the Young Bucks, that you'd be rooting for Swerve and Ospreay in that situation. But so many positive things over the years with the Young Bucks. I wouldn't be here without them. And the first person who really took the idea of AEW seriously was at first Matt, and then Matt put me on the phone with Nick. And that was literally 7 years ago, over 7 years ago. I think Matt and I talked for a long time. I want to say July 3rd of 2018 for like 30 or 40 minutes the night before the 4th of July. And that would be just over 7 years ago. And it really means a lot to think back to the very first AEW show. Young Bucks have had great tag team matches from the very beginning. And I think one of their best matches tonight with very high stakes was Ospreay and Swerve versus the Young Bucks. I would put it right there with Kenny and Hangman versus the Young Bucks, FTR versus the Young Bucks, some of the greatest matches ever in AEW's history and some of the best tag matches I've seen. Really absolutely fantastic stuff. So I think there's a lot of great stuff happening in that tag division, trying to get that to be as strong as it's ever been, because when AEW is firing at its best, it really has been. So I think that's been a bright spot among all the bright spots in 2025, which, right now I think we're having in so many ways our best year. The positivity is just so high, and I appreciate all of you giving us a chance to come out and have these great shows, and also saying it. It's really fun to go out there every week when you continue having great shows, just like when you're winning games and you want to go to the next one, and it's really fun going to the next game. So 2025, we set a goal for this year, and so far the team keeps achieving the goals. Thank you. Thank you. That's great. Thank you. Is there one more?
Hey, Tony. Is there any clarity regarding the Casino Gauntlet winners as to how those title shots will be delivered? Like last year, there was sort of a cash-in style, or will it be more standard this year?
Well, it's a great question. And I think as with, I did give, to be fair, I did give a rules clarification up here going forward for the Unified Championship. And it's a great question. I appreciate you asking. I will be giving more clarity to that on the TV shows. Thank you for asking. Of course, last year with the Casino Gauntlet winner, that was the format. And it's been treated different times, different ways. If you remember the very first Casino Gauntlet match going into Double or Nothing last year, we had in Daly's place, Will Ospreay won the first Casino Gauntlet match. And we knew then that he would be wrestling for the international title at Double or Nothing. And we had a set stake on it. Of course, last year, it was a contract to be cashed in at any time. I'm going to sit with the winners, sit with the champion. I'm going to sit with the schedule, and I'm going to put some real thought into when I'm going to make those announcements. But I think there's a cadence that makes a lot of sense for this. But I think it would be safe to say that the challengers in this case, after MJF stepped up against such a talented field, frankly, and you have to give the devil his due, and Athena against one of the greatest groups of wrestlers and the first ever women's pay-per-view Casino Gauntlet match. I think they've earned some say in when they cash these things in. So I will be making those announcements very soon. But thank you, sir, for asking. It's a great question. I know I mentioned it earlier, but I just wanted to thank you all. I really appreciate you all coming here. I hope if you were able to enjoy it as a fan, that's great. But I understand you're here for work, and hopefully you did like the shows. I really have had a great time, and I appreciate you all giving us this opportunity. If you didn't cover the shows week in, week out, we wouldn't have had this great platform. And certainly by talking about AEW All In week out, really every single week for months and months and months, we've addressed this and built it up. And thanks to you covering it, and thanks to the great staff working together to put this event on, it delivered. And it really was the huge event, the huge culmination of so many great moments that it felt like it was going to be. It really sets the stage for a great Dynamite, and certainly across Dynamite and Collision now in AEW. Sean, to your point, that's one of the many great questions that I will be addressing, and I do have a good plan for that. Thank you for asking that, and thank you, everybody, for being here today. I really appreciate you covering this. I tried to hopefully answer as many questions as I can while balancing that you all really want to get out and party here tonight. So thank you for covering this show. God bless you all. Thank you. Travel safe. Thanks. Thank you. Great to see you. Thank you.